In this video, I will be showing you how to sew the keyhole back on the Ophelia bodice. So this is a little bit tricky and it does make the neckline a wee bit tricky as well, but it's a beautiful finish and it's a really, really lovely feature. So it is definitely worth sort of persevering through this. So we're going to start with the two back pieces, so your outer and your lining. So I have my front here with the darts all sewn. We'll pop it to the side. We are going to start with sewing the keyhole opening up. So it'll just be right sides together. And we're going to sew the whole way around from one end of the opening here, the whole way around to this side. So this first step is fairly simple. And the opening on this, so you can make it bigger if you want to go for more, but it has been designed so that you should be able to wear a bra with it, which I think if it's a dress that you're going to be wearing sort of every day, during the day, you want to obviously have that option. The first time I made this, it had the smaller opening for the first Northern Ireland frock tails, and then I wore it again to a wedding and I actually opened it up a little bit more because I thought for the one day that I would be wearing it for sort of more special occasion, I could get away with no bra with it. So it was nice to be able to do that sort of bigger opening if that's something you wanted to do. It is just as simple as extending this curved area up a bit evenly on each side, and that'll give you a bigger opening here. So we're just going to sew this with a normal 1 centimeter seam allowance. And then we're going to clip into this curved area all the way around. So we'll snip into it first. You could do this with pinking shears if you wanted. It would make it a wee bit quicker. If you're left-handed like me, you'll find it difficult to use pinking shears though. So then the next step, if you have a lining, then this is going to be easier. But we are just going to be pressing this all away from the main outer bodice. So just very gently push it all towards the lining. It just makes it a wee bit easier then to fold it over. You'll have a crisper line there already, just to flip this round so that it's wrong sides together. So I'm just going to do that now. I don't have a right and a wrong side here, so it doesn't matter. They're both the same, so I'll just press it over to one side. So if you are making this in a slightly heavier, like a light to medium weight fabric, this is a viscose and it's about 110 grams per square meter, so it is very lightweight. If you were using anything heavier, getting closer to about 150, you would possibly want to trim this down as well. This area here is all going to gather in, and if you have too much bulk in here, then it's going to just create a really bulky seam. But you can see now where I have pressed that, it's sort of already starting to fold around quite nicely for our next step, which is to sew this channel down. So the channel will be starting, you're going to start about 3 centimeters away from this edge. That's so that we have enough of an opening here to get our invisible zip inserted later on. So then we're just going to sew down the channel once we've pinned it, which is where the ribbon will be inserted to draw in the keyhole. So we have a 1.5 centimeter allowance for the channel, which will give you enough room to put in up to 20 millimeter ribbon. I quite like the velvet ribbons for this. I think it adds a lovely, luxurious touch. So you want to take your time with this because you are sewing on a curve. It can be a little bit tricky. Make sure you backstitch because we'll be feeding the ribbon through. And that is the keyhole opening done. So all we have to do now is insert the elastic, which I will do after I've sewn this next part. So the next step is to sew our shoulders together. So we're going to match the outsides and the lining pieces at the shoulder seams. One of my biggest concerns with this, getting this part right, was making sure with the keyhole I didn't want any openings here at the top, as there was already the invisible zip below. So for the round neck version, I had to make sure that there was enough room to get your head in and out, which I think has led to a really nice sort of wide, elegant neckline. So now I will sew these. So now for the tricky part, we're going to open this up with the right sides together. Oh, and so on these ones. So we have our back opening here and then our neckline. So what we want to do is sew this in 2 halves. So with the garment right sides out, so we have our wrong sides together in here, This is our front neckline, our back neckline, and then we've got our keyhole here. We are going to sew each half separately. So we'll start from the back and come around to the front, and then from the back and come around to the front, or you can go front to back, it's entirely up to you. But what you want to do is get your shoulder seams and bring them, wrap them in to meet each other like this. And I will say I did try to sew this all in one go, a different way, and could not turn it right sides out. So this was the best way, through my mistakes, to figure this out. And then from there you can keep turning it and pinning. We'll go to about halfway across. And the same at the back, about halfway around. So we have half of our neckline here pinned and ready to sew. So we'll sew this first and then turn around and go the opposite way. So when you're sewing the square neckline, you do want to take this really slowly because it is quite a narrow, tight corner. And then we're going to turn it back out and do the same on the other side. Let's see. There we are. So starting from the shoulder point again, and I will press these seams open. So you're going to pinch them in so that your shoulders meet, turn it out, and this method of sewing the arm or sewing the neckline is similar to how you would finish the arm side, the armhole, if you're fully lining the bodice. So if you want to enclose all the seams within the bodice lining, this is exactly the same thing. You'll start from your side seam, pinch it, work up to the shoulder, and then repeat that for the other side. And it's a nicer way to finish. Sometimes you would have your bodice, leave the side seams open and do a burrito that way for the armholes if it was a sleeveless bodice, but this way is nicer to finish it. And your seams aren't shifting or anything as you go. Okay, and do the other side. So if you keep your needle down when you're doing this and just sort of gradually turn it. As I say, take your time. And that's you. Let's get this. And we have our neckline sewn. So next steps will be clip into these curves here and into the front corners, and then understitch everything to get it all sitting nice and flat and give it a good press. We'll just snip in here. Clip in around the back neckline. And then I'm going to go press this now and then understitch it, and that's us done. The ribbon can be inserted with a safety pin, so just feed it through, or you can wait until the end when you're putting your zip in. You can do it after that stage if you don't want it getting in the way. That is your keyhole back with the lovely rounded square neck finished.